accompanying me a wonderful group of dedicated choristers. Partnering in ministry with me at St. Stephen Church in Louisville, and got off work and got in vans and buses, and along with Jason Claiborne, our director of worship, and Brother David Cartwright, who is accompanying them on the piano. And I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart for being here with me. If the music was left up to me, you would hear everything but music. So thank you so very much. God bless you. Dr. Michael Carter, in my first year as president of Simmons College of Kentucky, you and the Reverend John Chowning were so gracious to reach out to us. And that meant so much to me, and I will never forget how sincere the two of you were in making the resources of Campbellsville University available to us, and helping to mentor me, because I knew nothing about being a college administrator. I was trained, have a doctorate of ministry, which is a ministerial degree to equip me to serve as a pastor, but not as a college administrator. And during those early years, you reached out to me, and I will never forget how gracious you both were in helping me during those early years, and this continued partnership as we seek to bring quality education to the residents of this Commonwealth. And thank you so much. You guys are just class guys, and Campbellsville is blessed to have you, and our state is blessed to have you, and I thank God for you. Man, this Brother Keith Spears, my colleague, to the mayor and county judge executive, and to all of the students and faculty here at Campbellsville College. Martin Luther King, Jr. What a man. What a man. Dr. Johnny Clark, he had no intentions of being a civil rights leader. He was trained to be a pastor, a theologian. He had all of the skill sets to become the president of a major university. But he heard the call of suffering. And God had so positioned him in Montgomery to use his skills, his resources, to benefit others. One of the great minds of a former generation was Dr. Alfred Whitehead. And Sir Alfred Whitehead said that all education is, if you really want to know what education is three things, just three things. When you finally distill what education is, when true learning and enlightenment is taking place, three things is happening. He said, number one is fascination. He said, all education begins with fascination. He said that the Almighty basically put something in all children to make them curious, inquisitive, and they want to know. No one has to force them to learn. Something in them makes them explore things, investigate things. So watch a child, every child, black, white, Hispanic, yellow child, doesn't matter. Watch how they engage in the scientific method, how they pull things apart, research things. In geology, my geology professor would often ask, in order to identify certain rocks, we'd have to taste the rocks. We would taste the rock to taste the sodium content in the rocks. And without a geology professor, children just naturally put things in their mouth. Their way of trying to find out what things are. And because they're so curious and inquisitive, in a matter of a few years, they learn the English language. In 3 or 4 years, imagine learning a new language, if you could. Every 3 children do it 3 to 4 years. Just by being inquisitive, asking questions. All parents know what I'm referring to. Mama this, mama why this, mama why that, why this, why that. Always asking mama questions. And one exasperated mother looked at her child after a barrage of mama why, mama why, mama why. And the mother looked at the child and said, honey, don't you know that curiosity killed the cat? And the child looked at mom and said, well, mama, what was the child curious about? So all education begins with fascination. But then Dr. Alfred Whitehead said, you move from fascination to regimentation, which means going over materials over and over and regimenting until you master it. Because spelling words are not put in us, we get them in us by going over it in math. Math formulas are put in us because we go over and over and over them. Regimentation. But then he said, education is not simply fascination and regimentation. Dr. Alfred Whitehead said that education is also application. Because it's not enough just to be fascinated and regimented. You have to take your education and make sure that there's proper application, which means you use your education not to bury people or bomb people or destroy people, but to build and develop people. Perhaps there was no greater, smarter people in the world, in the history of the world, like the Germans between 1933 and 1945. Educated, but wicked. Dr. King used his education for the common good. We were the United Hates of America. The United Hates. But because of Dr. King, who died as a young man at the age of 39, then the bus boycott at the age of 26. Time Magazine's Man of the Year at the age of 28. A young man that changed the world. We were the United Hates. And because of Dr. King, we became, and we are still becoming, the United States. Prior to Dr. King, the focus was on skin. 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 But Dr. King helped us to take the S off there and focus not on skin, but more on kin. And regardless of what race you are or what religion you may be, we are all kin to each other because God is our Father. What a great man. Amen.